Alright, so in this video, I'm going to go over some concepts that I have discussed a little bit previously, but it's a little bit different than some stuff you guys have seen in other games. So I want to make sure and hammer this point home, and that has to do with the general structure of the game turn. Now, we discussed earlier about our action cards, because when it comes to the game turn, everything is related to these action cards. Now, the big thing to keep in mind is this deck is going to get burned through as we are drawing cards into the hand, your hand and the opponent's hand, and then also for your D6 rolls, okay? So again, if you need to roll a single D6, you're going to draw a single action card, look up in the corner, and if you need to do a 2D6 roll, you're going to draw 2 action cards and then compare them. You can, if you wish, use regular dice and roll, but for whatever roll that you're doing, you have to discard that many action cards from the deck to make sure that you keep the game flowing normally. So if you roll 1 dice, you're going to discard a single card. If you roll 2 dice, 2 cards. Now make sure you keep your action deck discard pile organized, and it is separate from the terrain deck. There is a separate terrain deck. So if you have terrain cards that get discarded, they do not get mixed in with these action cards. So like I was saying, a game turn is going to be one playthrough of the action deck itself. So each turn is one action deck, and the scenario will generally let you know how many turns the game is. So if it's a 3-turn game, it means you're going to be playing through the action deck 3 times. Now, thankfully, there's an easy way to keep track of that. There are tokens you can use to keep track of what turn you're on with your action deck. So you can place the token on the action deck or near it to let you know you're on turn 1, and then turn 2, and so on as you're burning through your action deck. So once your deck has been burned through, you're going to finish up whatever you were doing at that point. So if you're resolving a check and you run out of cards, you will shuffle the discarded action deck, get it set up, and then draw any remaining cards to finish out the last action from the previous turn. However, these cards that you draw do not get shuffled back in. So whatever you draw out to finish out from your previous turn becomes the new discard pile once you're done with those cards. Once you have gone through the deck as many times as you were supposed to, so if we were on turn 3 in the fictional scenario I was just talking about, once this deck had been burned through, we would finish out any remaining action that had been started prior to the deck running out, and that would trigger the end of the game. Now, there are scenarios that will have games that will end before you finish through all your turns, but the ending, drawing the last card from the action deck signifies the end of the game. Once you do end a turn, though, by drawing the last card from the action deck, you will take and remove all your spotted markers, remove any smoke marker cards. All blaze cards are removed and replaced with smoke cards, and you will reduce the fatigue level 1 on all units, and you're going to ready all your spent units.